Fan here for a weekly What's up, everybody? Super Derek Fan here for weekly update number 61 on this Friday, and this update is brought to you by the DriveNet app. So, what's new with the BRZ this week? Well, you'll notice I'm still in the BRZ. It's much quieter. I actually have the stock exhaust back on it. I took off the aftermarket, SRT header back exhaust, and so the car is much quieter now. And for those of you wondering, I already have a deal set up to sell the exhaust to someone. If that falls through, I'll let you guys know, but for right now it's probably sold and it'll be off the market. But so yeah, I'm still waiting on the Mini to get finished up. It's been put through service and things like that. But I did find one I really like. There's another one that's come up that is also a possibility. So trying to decide between the two right now. Yeah, still looks like I'll be getting the Mini. Nothing's changed over the past week financially. Another thing though is due to changes in my schedule now. I'm gonna be busy on Fridays, so I'm filming this video on a Thursday. But you guys normally have said in the past you like it whenever these are coming out on Fridays. So I'll be filming these on Thursdays from now on, and then making them live on Friday for you guys to watch at the normal time. So some people have asked me, while I still have the BRZ here, what are my final thoughts, my final impressions on the car? And the thing that I'm coming away with after over 33,000 miles now is the car is definitely not perfect. It was, there's been some issues that I've had. If you've watched all my weekly updates, the windows freeze up in the winter time, and the taillight condensation was an issue. The car lacks some refinement. There's not a whole lot of sound deadening between the engine and the cabin, so you hear all the mechanical workings of the motor and things like that. The windows squeak from time to time, and just recently this spring I've noticed they're screeching every time I put the passenger window down. So it definitely has some issues. It's not perfect by any means, but I actually drove this car recently on my review roads that I normally drive on whenever I review cars at Harrison Auto Sales, and it really, comparing it to all the cars I've reviewed, it handles like nothing else, and I still am just totally in love with the way it handles. I've reviewed a lot of sweet cars, and they're all spectacular in different ways. Some of them aren't spectacular, but most cars I review I really like. But this, it feels different going around those corners, that I was comparing to all the other cars that I've reviewed on those same roads. And it feels different, and there's something about this low center of gravity that Subaru was going on and on about back when these cars first came out. It really is true. It just feels different. You have to drive one on your favorite back road to really understand. If you live in a place with lots of straight roads, I'm sure you could still have fun in this car. Honestly though, I don't think you're really going to be enjoying this car as much as you could though. On back roads is where this car flourishes, and it's just an absolute joy to drive, and I'm really gonna miss it. I appreciate all your guys' support though in last week's update. Really appreciate, all 99% of you saying you're gonna stick with me, and you still love the videos, and you appreciate everything I do, and you're gonna enjoy whatever car it is I get. I appreciate all the suggestions, like I posted the video yesterday of all the different suggestions you guys have been giving me, and my reasons as to why I'm not getting those cars, and still pretty set on getting a Mini. But thank you for all the comments, all the support, really appreciate it. So like I mentioned at the very beginning of the update, there's this new app that a friend of mine's working on. It's called DriveNet. It's out right now on Android. You can check it out. And basically, it's a nice way to look at all the YouTube channels without actually going onto the YouTube app. You just have all the car channels right there listed. Since YouTube doesn't actually have a dedicated car channel section, it's just autos and vehicles generically, but all the good high quality car channels are in this app. So you just open up the app and boom, you have all the good car channels to choose from. Just click on one and watch away. So very cool app. Check it out if you have an Android device, and yeah, could be a Super Dorks Fan app in the works in the future. Who knows, but a little teaser image to show you guys, maybe in the future we can do something like that. That'd be cool. But yeah, so check out the app, let me know what you think about apps, and yeah, so I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, so for this week's news, the first thing is Mercedes. I got a bunch of Mercedes news here. So the first thing is Mercedes says they're considering a GLA-based crossover coupe. This whole thing again, this is apparently this new fad of these tiny little cars that are jacked up on stilts and called crossover SUVs. It's kind of, I don't know, I don't really understand it totally, but every week there's more news of these kind of things coming out. So there's the Mercedes GLA, which alone is like kind of a mini SUV thing, to kind of bridge the gap between the GLKs and the MLs and all that kind of stuff. And so they're having this tiny little GLA SUV, and now they're saying that they're going to do something they're going to be calling probably the GLC, which is going to look kind of like the CLA, but it's going to have basically this crossover coupe. So it'll be an SUV that doesn't have any practicality of an SUV, but it's going to be higher than the GLA. Again, I don't see the point of any of these, but hey, I mean, Mercedes has been on a home run recently with all their cars, so maybe they know what they're doing. Other Mercedes news is Mercedes-AMG says they're considering doing more Turbo 4s and Hybrid 6s for their future performance sedans. So, the awesome CLA 45 AMG already has this fire-breathing turbo 4-cylinder that's a sick motor that does tons and tons of boost, and really an engineering marvel. And so this report is saying they're going to do more forced induction stuff here probably, and everyone loves the beautiful, glorious AMG V8s and all that jazz, but this is saying that because of the new fuel standards and everything that people are expecting all these car companies to come up to, they might do this for the AMG models, because they do sell a lot of AMG models, so you can't have gas guzzling V8s in all of them, I suppose, but so yeah, I mean, as we see with the CLA 45, you can have very sick turbo 4-cylinders, and so they're saying they're going to consider doing more of these in some of the other AMG products. Other Mercedes news is there's been spied some the new C-Class wagons, which look really striking actually, at least as striking as they can look with a little bit of camouflage they have on them. But they look really nice. Again, Mercedes is just on a roll with their styling. That looks really beautiful. And while we're also talking about AMG, this is a nice segue into other news of AMG. There's been reports in the past about how it's been confirmed that AMG is going to be supplying engines to Aston Martin here in the future. And there's a new report out saying that it's not going to go beyond engines. They're just making engines for Aston Martin the same way Mercedes-AMG makes engines for Pagani for the Huayra. It's saying that they're going to do a new V8 for Aston Martin, and that's it. Again, I don't see what's wrong with the current Aston Martin V8. But at least it's good to know that, this isn't like Aston Martin's just turning into a more exotic Mercedes. It's, only AMG engines and that's it. Aston Martin also came out with a new report this week that they're doing a new platform that they're developing all on their own, and that it's, going to underpin a lot of their future cars. And, they say that this in combination with the new V8 from Mercedes is going to be a whole new, totally new car. From the ground up, everything's going to be brand new, and this is really exciting because Aston Martin, again, they have also been on a roll with their styling and their cars. I love them all, and so really excited to see what they have cooking up here for a new car. Next is a report saying that Volkswagen is considering a whole retro family of cars based on the Beetle, and when I hear the word retro, it makes me smile, and so, I love retro things. So this is saying they could, still reintroduce the microbus, which is something that, that rumor has come and gone over the past several years, and so they're saying that could come out. Also, they're saying there'd be a more aggressive roofline version of the Beetle, also, a lifted ragtop dune buggy Beetle, kind of like what we saw over at the Detroit Auto Show this past year. And things like that. This is just a report, though. I don't know if any of this is actually going to happen, but this is just what this magazine is reporting. Other news, Chevy has introduced two new packages for the Corvette, an Atlantic and Pacific design package, and it is only on Z51 equipped cars. You can get this option. It gives you some stripes on the Atlantic one and the Pacific one. Is convertible and has some different wheels and some slight little accents here and there. No big changes, but it's cool to see these new colors, and yeah, they look pretty good. Another thing that looks pretty good, actually looked awesome, and that is some mini interns that decided to take a Paceman, which is, a coupe version of a Countryman basically, and they hacked the back hatch off and turned it into the Mini Paceman Adventure, which is this little truck that is all kinds of sick awesomeness. First off, I love the color. I love, that it has the lights on the roof there and the spare tire mounted on the roof. That thing just looks super cool. And this was just hooked up by some interns at Mini, which is awesome, and I really hope Mini makes that, because Mini is a funky enough company, they can get away with something like that, and it would totally sell, I think. So I think that's a spectacular idea. Give all those guys bonuses, and yeah, make that car. So very, very cool. Other exciting news here is Audi is perfecting their RS3 hot hatch. So it was spied testing, and it has a bunch of camo on it, but you can all imagine what an RS3 is going to look like. Take an S3, make it more aggressive, and there you go. And so, you can see the headlights and the front air dam, even with the camo on. Looks very sweet, and it's going to be one heck of a performer, I'm sure. No, official stuff, but they're saying that the official production version of the RS3 should be coming out here in October. And so yeah, eagerly awaiting that. Next is a report here saying that the Lamborghini Urus, which is their SUV that they're going to be making here, and it's supposed to be coming out in 2017, they're saying that it could be assembled in Slovakia, which, makes a bunch of Lamborghini purists and basically everybody say, what the heck, like, Lamborghinis are supposed to be built in Italy, they all have been built in Italy, and so this one being built in Slovakia is kind of odd, but it's also because that's where all the other Volkswagen, and this is going to be based on the Touareg, the Cayenne. I mean, obviously it's going to be much, much different. Same basic architecture, and so, they're all going to be assembled side by side apparently, which isn't very good news. I think, people are spending this much money on a Lamborghini SUV, they would want it to be built in Italy. It's going to be really sick regardless, but, it just loses a little bit of its specialness if it's not running, coming out of Santa Agata. And Italy is just, yeah, Lamborghini and Italy go hand in hand, so having this built in Slovakia just doesn't sound right. Another report here, and this could be in response to Lamborghini or in response to Porsche, I don't know, but McLaren says that it's a sports car brand and won't be making any SUVs. So, I don't know if this is a shove, like I said, at Porsche or what, but McLaren just says they're not doing SUVs. No one really expected them to, I don't think, and it's good. I mean, Lamborghini and Bentley are doing these SUVs and things like that. I don't think McLaren needs to do one anyway, and I don't think anyone really wants a McLaren SUV. But it's good to hear that they're just sticking with cars. But McLaren, they're going to be developing the new P15 supercar, which is going to slot beneath the P1 but above the 650S. It's going to be around 600 grand. And Koenigsegg has just said that they're going to be planning a $650,000 entry-level supercar. So the Koenigsegg Ageras, 1.3 million bucks. So hey, let's cut the price in half and make an entry-level car. So that's what they're planning on doing here. There's no details about it. It's probably several years off. But, that would be, this is going to be really interesting, guys. In 3 or 4 years with these, you're going to have all the hypercars that are already out, and they only make those every 10 years or so. The LaFerrari, the Enzo, all those kind of cars. And so, not going to see any new hypercars really probably for the next few years, but you're going to have this awesome war in the, $600,000 range of these sweet cars of the P15, the Koenigsegg, and then you're probably going to have a few other people throw their hats in the ring and make some stuff around this, to be competitive as well. And so that's great to hear. So more Koenigsegg's, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So I'll send it back to me in the car. Alright, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here. Not going to be as exciting with the stock exhaust, but still awesome. Still get the little second gear chirp, and man, it's so much fun. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.